Hey there! It is good to have you back. Today, I want to dive into making art with you. That means we will talk about text-to-image artificial neural networks. Do not worry, we will get that together. Maybe you have even heard of it? It has grown quite popular and powerful over the last few years. The idea is that we put in text a natural way of expressing ourselves. The artificial intelligence understands the text and then creates an image based on it. This allows all of us to be brilliant artists. Maybe you have already heard of the AI-generated image that won an art contest? It raised an uproar among artists about the value of man-made art. Look, this is the infamous image. Either way, it looks impressive, doesn't it? And now, what if I tell you that you too can create art like this yourself? What if I tell you that it is now so easy to use that you do not have to know anything about artificial intelligence at all to create captivating art? Well, that is what I want to show you today. All of what we are going to see is based on the so-called generative adversarial networks. Of course, we will not go too much into detail, but there are some facts that I want to share with you that will give you an idea of how it all works. Let's start. So, we've got our AI that wants to learn to draw. Let's call it Gandhi. And we feed it many images. Many images. With each image, we tell Gandhi what is in the image. And just like this, it learns what a fire looks like, a computer, a hospital, and so on. We do this to the point where Gandhi can replicate these images roughly on its own. But we are not yet done. Accompanying Gandhi, there's another AI, the so-called discriminator. Its duty is to decide whether Gandhi's images look realistic or not. Gandhi then tries to fool the discriminator by creating results that look as realistic as the ones we fed it. If the discriminator cannot distinguish between our training images and Gandhi's, then Gandhi is on the right track to be used professionally. But we do not need to understand any of this more deeply, let alone mathematically. It helps, but modern text-to-image frameworks are designed in a very intuitive way. All we need to learn is the art of prompts. Initially, I said we will write text and the AI will understand us. This text that we will give to the AI is called a prompt. Prompts can look really differently. I will show you some examples and the images resulting from them. It can be as straightforward as an ibis in the wild painted in the style of Jean Audubon. Or it can be rather abstract, like kneeling cat knight, portrait, finely detailed armor, and so on. Or even contain information about the ratio and the camera lens, like 50mm portrait photography, AR 2:3, and so on. So we see that these prompts are an art in itself, and that there's a lot of room for experimenting, playing around, and having fun. Okay. Now we have a broad idea of the fundamentals of the technology and how to interact with it. What do we need next? Of course, the AI. Currently, there are 3 very important players in the market. Obviously, there exist more, but these 3 manage to gain most of the recognition. All 3 have their own strengths and weaknesses. Furthermore, the accessibility differs drastically. The first 2 Midjourney and DALL-E are not open source. That means it is not possible to look into their code or modify it. That is not a problem per se, but open source gives enthusiasts the chance to adapt the AI to their ideas and create totally new versions. And that is what sets the third apart: stable diffusion. Midjourney and DALL-E are not downloadable either. You have to request access to them via Discord on their website. Whereas Stable Diffusion, on the other hand, is freely available. However, you need a powerful computer, otherwise it will take forever to create images. But regardless of all the differences, all of them are capable of creating stunning art. Nonetheless, each of them excels in a specific aspect. It is said that Midjourney is the best choice for creating artistic images. DALL-E is powerful when photorealistic images are desired. Whereas Stable Diffusion is very versatile because there are several different models that were trained by users to really stand out in a particular use case. But we will get to that in a few moments. They also tend to prefer certain ways of writing the prompts too. Some want short and compact ones, whilst others work well with a great deal of detailed information. But enough abstract talk. Let me show you how you can make use of all of that. Due to it being the most accessible one, from now on I will focus on Stable Diffusion. This way, if you want to try it out yourself, you can do so easily. Let's see. After you downloaded and started it, Stable Diffusion looks somewhat like this. We see a field to type in our prompts and different features to further fine-tune our ideas. So, if we enter something that we would like the AI to create, it puts itself to work. And after a few moments, it presents us with its version of our prompt. For starters, that was really easy, don't you think? Now we are to choose whether we are satisfied with the results or if we want to adjust the prompt. And we might just play around with different prompts. But what we could also do is make use of the negative prompt. You see, with this feature, we tell the AI what we do not want to see in the generated images. In this example, we do not want the image to be ugly, out of frame, blurry, and much more. We can even put emphasis on these wishes with parentheses. And if we now generate an image of a man and a woman happily in love, then this is the result. Lovely, isn't it? To give you an idea why this is so important, let's look at an image created with the same prompt but without any negative prompt. And this is what it looks like. We see weird hands, the faces are off, and overall it looks much less professional. But it is up to you. You can play around with this, check different approaches, try out unconventional combinations. It is fun. And speaking of fun, another crucial feature is the initial image. With this, we give our AI a rough idea how we want the result to look like in the end. We can draw shapes and colors and basic features. Take a look at an example. If we ask the AI for a cute little cat in high resolution, and we insert this amateur sketch, then the AI comes up with this pretty cute cat. It even interprets our simplistically drawn background as clouds with stars. And this is just one way of doing it. The style and the proficiency are variable too. You see, artificial intelligence relies on so-called models. You can think of it as some kind of brain for the AI. Depending on what the brain has seen while training, the results may differ significantly. Stable Diffusion comes with a base model that covers a lot of topics already. But there are many models downloadable for free on the internet that people trained for a particular purpose. Let's look briefly at an example to give you an idea. We used the prompt, a woman in front of a lake, with 3 different models. The first one is the base model of Stable Diffusion. It looks decently, but not impressive. The second one is called Dream Shaper, and we already see that it was trained largely with anime characters. And the third one is called Realistic Vision, and it shows us how authentic these images can become. We have seen that the same prompt can lead to very diverse results, depending on the brain we use. And this was merely a very simple prompt too. Who knows what kind of beauty hides in more sophisticated prompts? Hence, our takeaway here is that depending on what we are trying to achieve, it might be useful to change the model we are using. But if the whole topic of prompts still scares you, don't you worry. Because Stable Diffusion also offers its help to make it easier to get the hang of it. If we don't want to delve too deep, it offers us some examples of what we might want to try. Exemplarily, we see the colors ideas here. Pretty interesting and diverse, don't you think? You can enter a very basic prompt, look through Stable Diffusion's suggestions, and apply them to your prompt with a simple click. If we use our prompt of the cute cat again, and then click on Synth Wave, our AI will generate images that combine both ideas. Pretty neat, isn't it? Try it out yourself and let your creativity flow. Okay, one last topic I want to talk about is Dream Booth. Dream Booth is a method to teach our AI new stuff with only a few photos of someone or something. Let's take some ordinary guy, for example. He's not famous. No AI has ever seen anything of him. Just like you and me, he practically does not exist for the AI. But if we now show the AI enough photos of him, in this case I used between 20 and 25 photos, it will eventually learn what he looks like and can create new artificial photos of him. Take a look. Quite impressive, don't you think? And this could be you with some photos and chime. But I got to admit that this is not as easy to use and straightforward as the basic Stable Diffusion. You need to work with some scripts that are less user-friendly than what we are talking about here. But don't feel discouraged. I'm sure you can make it if you try. But for now, this is it. I hope this was some food for thought for you. Try out some of these features and see for yourself what you can get out of it. Follow this channel if you're interested in more videos like this. Until then, it was good to have you here. Bye!